Hello and welcome to another of our Wednesday outings. Every Wednesday we try to get out, even in the middle of January. Soon to get into February any moment now. This is the 31st of January and by golly it was cold and it was windy. And we're at Todmorden and this is the Rochdale Canal, and it went from Manchester all the way through to Sowerby Bridge. And the canal was completed in 1804, it was closed in 1952, and then it was restored in 2002, and I think they've done a cracking job and it's still here with us, so that's a big bonus. Now then, this chap's got the fire burning, so it'll be as snug as a bug in a rug in there. But what we did notice on the canal here is there's a lot of green algae, not in the canal but on the woodwork and timbers and paintwork of the barges. It's been so wet recently, hasn't it? And this algae is everywhere. I know we've got it at home on the paths and the drive, and if you don't keep on top of it, it can cause a lot of rot. And speaking of rot, I think this part of the canal at Todmorden, which is reached, by the way, if you find Lidl's store, go on to the car park. At the far end there's a little gap in the fence where there's steps, concrete steps. Go up the steps and you're here, you're on the canal bank. I've already said that, it was cold. So speaking of repairs and refurbishments, I think this is one area that this is carried out. How they get those boats once they're repaired back into the water, no idea. I should imagine a crane. In the old days they used to roll them, didn't they, on rollers, and then into the water, launch them in the water. But a lot of work going on there, by the way, and it's frequented by quite a lot of walkers too. While we were there, even though it was so cold and windy, we came across quite a good few walkers. And those boats, some of them are, well, I would call normal canal boats, but the other ones are really long canal boats. And we saw this clothes dryer on the right, and then I saw a washing machine, and I thought, no, they can't do the washing there out in the open, but who knows, it's so close to the area. More boats being refurbished, tittled up, having the bottoms cleaned, no doubt. But it was, even though it was so cold, it was a good visit, and the ducks were appreciated our visiting as well, because Steve went and bought a loaf at Lidl's and fed them. And like I said, the pathway is frequently used. Whether it's a shortcut for other places or not, I don't know, but there was one or two walkers there. But quite a lot of boats, and normally you would expect a canal barge or canal boat to be brightly painted. I know when I was a child, and I'm going back to the 1940s, I had an uncle who used to decorate the canal barges. I'll say no more about that sign. I believe there's one boat in the Thames area and there's another one registered in Chester. Which one that is, I have no idea. Anyway, back to the tale. My Uncle Billy used to paint canal barges and do all the decorating and the fancy wood scrolls and everything. And I used to go with him, and he did his work at the canal basin at Colne. Now whether that's still there or not, I don't know. And it was hard work because we didn't have wet and dry and sandpaper in those days. You used pumice stone. And as a kid I used to be rubbing away on the woodwork and the paintwork with this pumice stone to get it nice and flat. And then my Uncle Billy came along and did a wonderful job. It was pure artwork, you should have seen it. So those two are making hard work of swimming down the canal. They're using a lot of energy. All they have to do is get the wings going and be there in a flash. Anyway, here's the Armada, led by the ducks, and I think that's Canada geese behind, and they were after some bread, And of course they saw me with the camera in my hand, and they must have thought that was the bread. because they stopped right where I was. But it was Steve who got the bread, and he was further down to my right. But they had a good feed. Now whether you should feed them bread or not, I don't know. There's mixed feelings on that. But it is winter, and they need something to sustain them. So that's what we did. Right, I've done enough parroting. I'll let you watch the video in peace. See you in a little bit. Wow, glad you've stayed with us so far. Nearly coming to the end of the video now, but there's some lovely walks on these towpaths. I'd love to do it myself sometime. And there's a little wind generator on the bow of the barge. They've got all the mod cons, you know. Makes you wonder whether you're better off buying one of them instead of these rocks round your neck that you've got today. Anyway, that's me finished. And hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time on another Wednesday walk. Thank you very much. So it's cheers from me and cheers from Steve.